And Bridget was running a little bit late, so I said, I'll take him to school. So as I'm taking him to school, he looked at me, he says,
Daddy, am I rich?
and I said, where in the world does a third grader get these kind of questions? And I said, well, I don't know. Let's talk about it. I made it up as we went along. All righty. Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to Stepping Stones to Your Success. This is Professor Garland, and we're here to talk to you about the next cornerstone of Stepping Stones, and that's going to be a lesson I learned from my son, my middle boy, Brandon. He was a third grader at the time, and Bridget was running a little bit late, so I said, I'll take him to school. So as I'm taking him to school, he looked at me, he says,
Daddy, am I rich?
and I said, where in the world does a third grader get these kind of questions? And I said, well, I don't know. Let's talk about it. I made it up as we went along. And it says, well, let me ask you a couple questions, son. It says, number one, do you have your health? And it says, yes, my gym teacher told me I was the strongest boy in my class. And I said, okay, good. Do you have your freedom? And it says, yeah, Daddy, you taught me that freedom ain't free and we're blessed that we live in America. And it says, yep, you're right. And it says, okay. And it says, well, do you have your family close to you? And he says, well, yeah, sometimes my sister's too close to me. And it says, okay, good. And I said, do you know the Lord? And he says, yes, I do. I said, okay, let's review. So, son, you know the Lord, you got your family close to you, you got your freedom, and you got your health. So all four of those things, that leads to a thing called happiness. So let me ask you, Brandon, are you happy? And he says, yes, I am. I said, well, good. In my eyes, that makes you the richest guy I know. So that's all I wanted to share with you tonight. If you got your health, you got your freedom, you got your family close to you, if you know the Lord, that's in your corner as well, then you ain't got a lot to complain about. So let's be grateful and have an attitude of gratitude. Have a wonderful evening, y'all. You know the routine. Find your family, give them a hug, tell them you love them, tell them best friend in the world. And have a wonderful night, guys, and I'll see you next time.